Hey guys, good morning. Happy Friday. Again, I'm back with, I'm gonna call it Lean Goes Live. Something in my ear. Whatever. Lean Goes Live, and talking about all things travel and then also empowerment through golf. Um, so the past 2 weeks, or actually, I just want to say thank you to those people who maybe have saw the last live and then supported ETG. It really warmed my heart to see the support come in. So thank you from myself and my team. We're doing, all of the work in the background to keep the life of the organization going. So we just want to extend gratitude first and foremost. Um, and yeah, so like a few things that I would share, sort of like related to empowerment through golf and some of the work that I was able to do over the past couple of weeks, just like to spread the mission and encourage young athletes, young students, excuse me, probably student athletes, young scholars to, keep focused on the world of STEM and all that they can accomplish and, the life that they could thrive in by working in this industry. And so, obviously, we're here to talk about travel first and foremost. And so I'm gonna kick it off. And I was just doing a little bit of reflecting. I'm like, okay, I keep coming on and like talking to everybody about, what's happening in the industry and things like that. But I really want to know more about, what type of traveler you are, what type of travel is interesting to you, what you see people, where you see people going, and like if there are any like dream vacations that you want to start planning and things like that, because it's really helpful for my research. Like I want to know more about who's out there and what type of travel is interesting to you, because like you could be part of like you're like super active with like your children's school, and they may be doing group trips and things like that for summer vacations or sports, all of these things. So I kind of want to know like if people are interactive with school teams or church groups or other elements of their work that include travel, or if you're just thinking about like luxury travel for yourself, for your family, and things like that. And so the reason that I asked that is because I was listening to some podcasts about cruising. And one thing that really stood out to me was the Oceania cruises. And I really liked what the person was saying about like their style of cruising, right? That cruise line is not like the large carnival type ship where you would go on and it's just like hundreds and thousands of people, not thousands, but like a lot of people on the ship. The Oceania Cruise Line is a little bit more discreet. It's a smaller ship. It can go into a lot of different and unique ports, which I thought was really interesting because, you most of like the stops are like St. Thomas. They stop in Puerto Rico. They go Antigua, where I'm from, and different islands like that. But this one can go to like places like Martinique, and to St. Bart's. And St. Bart's is really small, so they don't really have large ports. So I thought that was really interesting that this cruise line sort of offers smaller size ship, very unique ports. Excuse me, I can't speak right now. And like luxury on the ship itself. So even like if you were to look it up, like the deck looks different from like your Carnival cruise line, how like their deck and pool is set up. It's really like a high-end hotel. Like obviously like there are hotels on the sea, right? But the Oceania cruise line is like high-end luxury. And one thing that I thought was really cool too is that it can even go into the Amazon. And I was like, what? Like, I want to go on a cruise in the Amazon. I hope everybody wants to do that too. But things like that just like blow my mind sometimes. I'm like, yeah, like of course, like everybody wants to go on like the Carnival cruises and, you know, hit like the top hot spots and things like that. But there are these other really beautiful, like untouched places that, you know, if you go, some like smaller is better or less is more sometimes, right? So like in this sense, like the ship is smaller, so it can go down the Amazon, and you can have like a really amazing like luxury experience just like cruising the Amazon. Like how cool is that? So I thought that was really awesome to learn that. And then also I wanted to ask like what type of things you guys wanted to learn from me, because I'm doing all of my research in the background and like that's good. But what is beneficial to you, right? So when I come on, are there any things in particular that you want to learn about travel? And I can also share that like with you on the side. But obviously, you know, if it's something good that we could talk about and share, and just like make it a little bit more interactive, because I don't necessarily like talking to people. I rather have like a conversation with you. And I know like it's early, and so like not many people may see it the first time, but you may definitely catch the replay later on and definitely share it. So, you know, like let me know what interests you about travel, which destinations you want to go, what type of traveler are you, like what places would you stay at, like which resorts do you like to stay at, or I can't do Airbnb, although I love Airbnb. I don't get commissions from Airbnb, just keeping it real. So let me know like what type of traveler you are, what type of travelers maybe like your friends and family members are, or groups around you that are traveling. Like if you see anything that's interesting, or you want to get involved in like helping, you know, plan group travel and things like that, just let me know. I'm curious. So if you have any questions, like definitely reach out. So yeah, so I touched on what type of traveler you are, and also the Oceania cruises. And then I wanted to jump into the ETG side of it for like a really quick second. So last week we had the opportunity to speak on a panel for some student scholars, and this is the second year sitting on their panel. And you know, sometimes, well, not sometimes, but these students like always amaze me with like their intellect, and their broad view of the world already. Like I'm not that old, yeah, but I feel like I feel comfortable like that these are the people that we're leaving the world in their hands, like to take care of. Like they're gonna do like such an amazing job. And so the lady who was the Dr. Angel, excuse me, who was leading the panel and invited us. She has this really cool thing that she asks us to do. She like write out like a few I am statements to inspire the students. And then we kick off the panel. So my I am statement, I'm just going to read it really quickly. I'm from small islands and I have a vast vision. I'm from disciplinarians and loving and fun parents. I am from very supportive communities. I am changing the landscape of STEM and the golf industries with the efforts of my organization, Empowerment Through Golf. And then we dived into the conversation with these students. And, you know, one thing that stood out, like a lot of the young ladies, they were asking us, because like we're all diverse women in STEM, and they were asking us like how we deal with you know, like showing up to the workplace on a daily basis, and as you know, diverse women. And another question was like, you know, aside from everything that you're doing, you know, what do you want people to remember about you, you know? And I was just like, wow, how old are you? And you're asking us this type of questions. But they asked a lot of really good questions that just led really fascinating conversation. They're super interested in moving forward in the world of STEM. They asked specifically about like bioengineering and like what type of courses they should be studying, you know, so to get themselves prepared to work in the world of industry, which I thought was really amazing. and they asked about like your background, because obviously you don't just like end up in a place. There was a story, you took a path, and you worked your way through to get there. And I thought that it was very like they are like already very mindful to think about what that path is going to look like for them. They were international students who asked about, you know, the difference between being an American and an international person, and the experiences. Like, how do you step into a place, like a workplace, when like you know you're different, and you know you're still expected to perform, and like literally, I think everybody on the panel said you just do, you know. You remember who you are, you remember where you came from, you remember all of the sacrifices that your family and everyone around you has experienced in order to help you be in the position where you are at the current moment, and you live up to it, basically. But I thought it was a really amazing experience to be able to interact with those young minds. They are going to go so far, and yeah, I have like nothing but like praises for them. Yeah, so I think that was like most of what I wanted to share about the student panel. Just that it's really great to see that the young students are already like thinking about, you know, how they can start making their way in the world of STEM. And in line with that, on August 14th at Empowerment Through Golf, we have our upcoming virtual mentorship session. And this session is going to be speaking about creating your unique brand, because we have student athletes, right? And what we want them to be able to understand, like from now, even though like some of them are just about to like finish up high school. One young lady in Antigua is getting ready to go on to college in the States. And we definitely want them to understand, like, now this is the time to start thinking about how you represent yourself, because that's how you are going to get ahead, right? As a student athlete, our hope is that all of them are able to attain college scholarships. And so even in your application, that is like a marketing opportunity for yourself. Like, how do you brand yourself as a student athlete in order to be able to achieve or attain, excuse me, a full scholarship to college? You know, that can alleviate amount of stress on your family, obviously, right? Because that is the goal. We would like them to be able to be so confident in themselves, in their skills and their abilities, and step forward in that realm, you know. And then aside from college, like after they graduate college, you know, then the next step is to get a job or start their own business. You know, everybody has like their own visions and desires for their lives and goals for their lives. And so, how do you do that? You know, it's all about branding. What are people going to know you for? Are they going to know, like, oh, yeah, Jessica, she is a mathematician. Like, if you need somebody about the numbers, you go to her. She'll be great at accounting. Jonathan, oh yeah, he likes airplanes. Anytime I see anything about like an opening for a pilot or something, like I'll refer him or something like that. Or somebody else is a great chemist. Like, if this job is opening up, I'm going to refer them for the job. Or they have great business skills and you want them to run your company, then you're going to go and you're going to get that person like to run your company, or recommend them for, you know, like a position like that, if they're not already doing their own thing. Because if a person is like that skilled, they'll probably have like multiple companies already, or at least like that may be their goal. Yeah. So we'll post the link for that. It's August 14th at noon on Pacific time, and it'll be on Zoom. So we'll post a link for that. So keep an eye out. So building or creating, excuse me, your unique brand. And it's not just about the student athletes again, or not just about the golf side of it. We're also encouraging the STEM aspect of it. And I'm super excited. One of my mentors, actually, from my first job out of college, is going to be Dr. Hellring is going to be on the call with us. And I think it was like really important to have him on the call, because he's a distinguished chemist, you know, and even in the world of science, like you have to identify your brand, you know, what type of chemistry is your specialty, you know, if you're focusing on a certain material, do you know everything about that material? And sometimes it is difficult, I guess, like for me right now, like to just like have a specialty, because like the place that I work, or like the group that I work in, I think it's so interdisciplinary. So you need to know like a lot, or need to know about a lot of different things, understand how a lot of different things interact with each other. But you know, there are people who have their PhDs, and like they focus on this one thing. You know, and so even marketing in the sense of that, or thinking about creating your unique brand in that sense, is like also super helpful. So I won't keep rambling about ETG, even though I love it. And thank you again for supporting, the continued support. I'll always check out our website, etghub.com. Leave us any feedback that you think is reasonable through our comments, sign up for the newsletter, interact with us on our social media. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And then on the travel side of things, I would like to know what type of traveler you are, what type of travel is happening around you, what is interesting to you. Let me know in the comments below, or you could send a message or anything like that. That would be super helpful for me as I continue my research and to get to know more about you guys. Okay, and so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Thank you again so much for your time. And yeah, when you have a chance, check out Oceana Cruises. And if you have any more questions about that, let me know. I would love to start planning a trip on their line. They look really, 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 really high-end luxe, and just like I think it would be like a really amazing experience to you. So like they go to ports that are very unique in the Caribbean. They go to places like the Amazon. They go to places like Martinique, where you probably have never heard of a cruise ship going before, and then also Saint Bart's. So Saint Bart's, again, really small port. You'd never find like a large cruise ship, tons of people there. So even like probably when you get off of the ship and go to the beach, it's like you alone, or you and your significant other, you know. All right, so that's my time for Lyne Goes Live. I'm gonna call it that, Lyne Goes Live, because we're talking all things travel and empowerment through golf. All right, have a great day, everyone.